Perfect. All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited that you are here. You likely know who I am because I invited you. But in case people stumble on this video in another spot, I'll just quickly introduce myself. I'm Susan Heid, and I am a mother of over 30 years. That seems like a really long time. A homemaker, and I love bringing that passion and just my experience to help inspire and motivate other women, especially those in the home. So that's a little bit about me. I've been doing this online thing for a little over 16 years. I actually was one of the OG blogger people. Back a long time ago, started a blog and then have slowly found my way over to Instagram, which is likely where a majority of you probably have found me, which that in itself is just crazy. I was reflecting this morning about it's almost 1 year ago today that my Instagram completely blew up because of one reel that really touched the heart of, I would say mostly women, but there were some men, and it was a reel on um, maybe you didn't have a role model, you didn't have somebody that helped mentor you in what it looked like to keep a tidy home. And so that really kind of pushed me even farther into my passion, which is to equip women in the home to really embrace their role as a homemaker, because whether you had somebody mentoring you or not, that's a role that is given to you, and I will kind of kick us off in that spot. But I would love to know if you want to put in the chat here for those who are joining. I would love to know how long you have been a homemaker, and I will define it because we're going to dive in here. Sometimes I got a message actually just this morning saying, a gal, she had purchased my new 2025 planner. She was excited, but she says, I'm not a homemaker. I work outside the home full time, and I have my 1 year old is at home. And I was like, whoa, 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 time out, sister. And I sent her a voice message on Instagram. And I was like, we have to stop that train because you are a homemaker. Whether you are working in the home full time, outside of the home full time, part time, whatever, you are a homemaker. And once we kind of capture that back and really see how valuable our role is in the home, there is something that really kind of comes from that, right? So I would just encourage you, if you feel like that, maybe you are working outside of the home and you feel some kind of like less than, or you don't fit that title or, whatever. I would encourage you to really lean into that because that's not how I see it at all. And I love being able to correct people. So we have some people here, 20 years. Oh, you guys are some OGs like me. Oh my word. Look at 30 years, 20 years. I love it. Addie, I work outside of the home as a nurse, and I'm a homemaker to a dog and a guinea pig. See, for now, no kids yet. That is right. You are a homemaker. It doesn't matter whether you're married, you are still making a home, right? 23 years, 20 years, 16, 27. Oh, you guys, 15 years. I love it. Thank you for sharing. That is so, so helpful. So, yeah. So, before I kick off here, let's talk about how would you say your confidence is in the role of being a homemaker and caring for your home on a scale of 1 to 5? One being maybe not so good, and five being, yeah, I feel pretty good. I would love to put that in there, 1 to 5, maybe. What would you kind of categorize? That will help me. But let's talk about the homemaker as you guys are dropping those in. So, like I said, a homemaker is not a job title that is reflective on whether you work inside the home or outside the home. It truly is the heart of creating a safe and loving place that nurtures those that dwell there, right? So whether it's dogs and guinea pigs or actual little humans, it all counts and it all matters. So I truly believe women are gifted with natural tendencies to be the homemaker, to manage the home. And so that will be always my place that I come from. But that doesn't mean if you think a little bit differently that you're not welcome here, or that we can't have a conversation, or that the things that I share aren't going to apply to you. Um, I would say, and I shared this yesterday when I did the Instagram Live, if you do not embrace the role as a homemaker, which really ultimately is kind of like the term is a home manager, that doesn't sound as warm and fuzzy. So I really love the term homemaker. But really, if somebody's not managing the home, what ends up happening is that you have chaos and disorder, right? And so I had shared yesterday that when I was coaching moms and they would come to me mainly with struggles with parenting issues, what we found was there was no rhythm, there was no routine, there was a lot of chaos happening in the home, which then overflowed to every area, your relationships, how well you're able to get the family out the door. I mean, we can probably say, yeah, I've had seasons, right, of that. So that is truly really important. So let me look at some of these numbers here. Oh, you guys, oh, twos. Okay. Two out of five, 3 out of 5. Yes. Even nurturing yourself in the space of a home, right, Lindsay? Oh my gosh. 3.5. Some needs, I still need tweaking. So you're okay. You are here, Angela. You're in the right place. I love it. 3, it's difficult working from home full time to stay on top of everything. And then Sarah, widowed, learning how to be a homemaker for one, relearning a job. Oh my gosh, that would be a really challenging season to be in. But I just want to encourage you, right? Have grace with yourself because it is, as I've watched a couple of my friends going through that season, I can just see, having a support system around you can be really helpful. But yeah. Okay, well, let me go on and I shared a little bit about me. I have notes here because I get like a squirrely thoughts. So forgive me if I'm looking down, but one of the things that I would love for us to reflect as you're kind of learning some of these tips here is that I am not, I think when I came on the scene, especially in Instagram, sharing what I love, people got this impression that my house is perfect. There's never a mess. We have no clutter, all of these things. And that is not true. Okay. I'm an 80-20 gal. Okay. I'm going to strive to get 80% of something, but there's always going to be the 20%, right? And so if you are coming here thinking, I'm going to learn from Susan because Susan's house is perfect, or Susan must have everything down because it's perfect or whatever, that is farthest from the truth. But I will tell you, we always want to have something that we're aiming for. We want to have a goal, right, of what would be ideal. Otherwise, we're going to just sit where we're at and we're going to be okay with that. So I am not about perfection, but I'm always going to encourage you to see, what can I do differently? What can I do today rather than looking at a list of things and just being discouraged, right? And uninspired and unmotivated, because that will really cause some real emotional things that keep us stuck, right? So as we go through today, I wanted to say, ask yourself, what do I want my kids to remember when they move out and start their own lives? So I always kind of like to come back and reflect on that question as I am looking at my role as a homemaker, because it will help me prioritize really what is important, and maybe the things that I think are important maybe aren't so important. Does that make sense? Yeah, that is a really good question. Okay, so I've shared a little bit about me, shared kind of where my journey was to get to this point. So we're going to go over some tips that I hope you will find helpful. If you've got something to jot down, great. You can always listen to this later. But I want to say I am a big routine and rhythm person. But I want to say that routines aren't meant to add stress, but they're actually meant to reduce it. And I think there's like a period of time, right? When we are over here figuring out, okay, I want to get over here, learning some rhythms and routines. How do I get through this space that's really uncomfortable? Because it's uncomfortable to change patterns of behavior, right? And so I just want to say that, um, so go slow. Know that it's going to take a little bit. It's like you're chiseling through a mountain to kind of get to this place where something begins to feel more natural. But once you get to that place, And, I get up in the morning now and I have certain things. I don't even have to think about it. That is where you want to get, right? That is where things end up having a flow that really is comforting to your soul. When you get up in the morning, you're not overburdened with what needs to be done. What do I do? And that is what my hope is, that you'll leave today having a few more of those ideas. So, why does structure matter? I really believe that having a routine that isn't restrictive but gives you some structure really matters. So routines, they allow you to spend less time having that decision fatigue, like I talked about, right? If you have some type of routine, it is like giving yourself a guidebook to your day or maybe your week. And then if you think about it, your kids are watching you. They're watching you all the time, right? And if they see you gently going through different rhythms during the day, they're going to see that as something, oh, that makes sense, right? Instead of being flustered and all over the place, that gives a different perception on them. So especially when you have busy days, if you have rhythms in place, it really is helpful. But like I said, I'm an 80-20 girl. So flexibility really matters. So you really want to see that as a guide, and it's not like it has to be that way or no way. It's not like the routine or there's nothing, right? And I feel like sometimes we get in seasons where, oh my gosh, and I mean, I see it in my DMs, people messaging me, I fell off the train with the planner. I'm terrible. I can't do this. This doesn't work for me. And then I just try to gently encourage people. It's okay. That's why it's a new day every day. You just can hop back up on that next day and just do what you can that day, right? There is never a failure approach to what we need to do in the home. We can always start again. And so that perfection mindset is no good, no good. And I'm a recovering perfectionist. So because life happens, some days fall apart. Like yesterday, like my day didn't go as planned. The afternoon came and I hit a wall and I crawled in bed, you guys. So I'm so grateful that I had the ability to do that. I mean, thank goodness there was something in the fridge that was, available for dinner, but things happen that sometimes we just don't have control over. And so just be aware the power of a routine in your home. And we're going to dive into a little bit more about that, but having that structure really matters. Do you have a time that you usually get up in the morning? Is there a time that your family knows breakfast is served or lunch or dinner? These are the kind of routines that's the basics. That's where we can start with, right? And then your family has those expectations in place. Do they know what's for breakfast? Do they, if you have self-serve breakfast, are those things put in place ahead of time? The less questions that you have to answer in the moment, it is better for everybody. So the second one I want to talk about, and I talk about this a lot, but it is breaking big jobs into bite-sized tasks, right? So that is one of the reasons why I think I have been a little more successful in managing my home, but also in other areas of my life, growing a business online, in my relationships and different things, is because I don't see something as this huge project. I will look at it and then see what are the small pieces that I can do in the moment. And so with regard to homemaking, it can seem very overwhelming if Tuesday is bathroom cleaning day. And that's all the general guideline that you have, right? Oh, it's bathroom cleaning day. Okay, well, if you really aren't sure or haven't been, having that role as the home manager and knowing what that means, as part of your routine, you could still feel really lost. What does that mean? Does it mean I clean the toilet today? Do I scrub the floor? Do I do the shower? Do I do the toilet? I don't know what. And this is where when you can break down a task like cleaning the bathroom into small pieces, like, oh, today's clean the mirror. I'm going to do a quick thing in the mirror. Or, maybe it's like, oh, I have 3 minutes. Let's wipe out the sinks and just spray the counters off really quick. How you can break those tasks into smaller, it makes it so much more, um, I guess your mindset is like, oh, yeah, I could actually do that. Does that make sense when you break down a larger task like that into smaller pieces? Does it seem like, oh, that is easier to do? I know I was messaging with a gal yesterday that had a new baby. And she was like, I just feel like I can't get ahead and sharing the common struggles. And then that's where I was saying to her, that's why when you look at a large task, especially when you have a new baby in the house, right? It's like you don't see, oh yeah, I have 30 minutes of time to go, clean my kitchen or scrub the kitchen floor or, whatever that is. But when you can look at jobs in smaller pieces and just take that 2 minutes of time that you might have right in this window and do a task, that is really rewarding. And that's kind of like building those habits into that routine. Yes. Rachel says the little concrete tasks are more helpful than the big general task, right? Like organize the closet. Yeah, we want to be kind of like our handheld, right? Through some of those tasks because it can seem really overwhelming, especially when we have no experience with that, right? So, yes, Lindsay, when you ask your kid, you tell your kid, go clean their room, but they're kind of like, I don't know what that means, right? It's very, very daunting. So, yes, Amy, breaking it down into bite-sized pieces definitely helps. Yes, keeping you from feeling overwhelmed. Well, that is the goal. So I would say that is a key component. And then just knowing good is good enough. You're not looking for perfection, right? When you can do a task, and maybe some days that task is just not going to get done, right? I mean, I can tell you just from my use of using the planner, I love knowing that a task is going to be rotated through on a regular basis. So maybe this week I don't have time, to clean the toilet and to do the floor and whatever, but I know, oh, next week it's going to be there. And then I know, okay, next week I need to make sure. But what do I know? Maybe I can skimp on this week when it's a little bit busier, right? Because I'll tell you, your toilet's going to be really nice and clean if you do clean it every week. But even if you skip a week, unless you have like 20 people living in your house, you're probably going to be okay with just having it done every so. But I mean, you know me, I clean my toilet with no gloves. So we're going to have a nice clean toilet. So, all right. So we talked about the power of a routine. We're talked about breaking big jobs into bite-sized pieces. Now, this is the big piece for many of us that I think we struggle with, which is getting your family to help and learning to delegate. So, you have a husband and 4 sons. Oh, yes, your poor bathroom. Yes. You know what? We only had 3 boys and then my husband. So, but I can feel your pain, but that was for a short period of time. My older kids are out of the home. So, but yes, that is definitely, yes. Okay. So household or help from others in your house and learning to delegate. I want to hear from you guys. Does anybody on here delegate now? Asking others in your home to do some of the typical household tasks that you do around the house. And this could even include meal planning or, preparing dinner or some of those things. Those are tasks, right? Amy says yes. Courtney, I try, but you're not consistent. That's okay. Your husband and I split the task. Great. Rachel, need to be more consistent. Yes, Kelsey, you do. Okay, good. Okay, we have a mix here. So this is good. Yes. So I will tell you, it's the biggest gift you can give your children is to help them learn one, right? I mean, I saw that when that reel went viral, that I would say there's a group, especially probably from early 20s until some of them were in their 40s that felt really lost with what it looked like to, I don't know how to clean a toilet, or I don't know what it looks like to clean, my bathtub and shower. I don't know. That hasn't been shown to me. So when you can help, give your kids that skill set, not only are you one helping them, but you are helping them feel a part of something bigger than themselves, which is the family unit. And then they feel a connection in there. So they are more apt to want to cooperate, to be part of that unit. If it's an all of us together kind of, atmosphere that you create versus it's just mom being the one that's the housekeeper, that is not what we're trying to, impart with any of this. So, okay, I wanted to catch up on there. There were some comments here. I want to make sure I get them all. So, oh, your 14-year-old loves to clean. Oh, I love that. Yes. And cook. Oh, see, that's so good. Okay. So, like I mentioned at the beginning, your role is a home manager, not the housekeeper. Okay. So, if you think about like you're managing your home, if you went to McDonald's, why did I even think of McDonald's? What that would, I don't even go to McDonald's. Okay. Let's talk about let's just use that example. I'm not advocating going to McDonald's. However, that's a business, right? And you're going to have somebody that manages there, well, they're not the one doing all of the work, right? So think of it in that respect, that your role is truly to help kind of give those tasks out. And so I want to encourage you, and I was thinking about this actually when I was first up this morning, that I want to create a sheet, which are kind of like the most common chores or tasks that are age appropriate for different people in our homes, right? What are those tasks? Because I think sometimes we forget that, gosh, even a 2-year-old can restock the toilet paper in the bathroom. They would love that, right? I mean, there's some of these things, and yes, it does take a little bit longer than us just doing it, right? In the first few times that we're going through and teaching and holding hands like this, it does. It takes more patience on our part and more time. But I'm telling you, you are investing in your children in a way that you will, it's reaping and sowing, friends. It is totally that. And you are going to reap the benefits after that. So, Avery, I always highly resisted cleaning as a kid. It was something to be dreaded, loathed. I'm not sure how to change that mindset for my future kids. Okay. Well, so I would say um, that I think starting younger would be one of the pieces, right? And I would say don't reflect it as being a chore or something that has negative. How could you make it a positive, right? I mean, so when we'll talk about this as I touch on the planner here in a minute, is I love when, I only have one now at 14. He's not probably into this anymore, but when my kids were younger, I mean, we would say, okay, who's got these jobs? Okay, for the next, 20 minutes, and who's picking the music right now? And it would be fun music, and we would make it silly and whatever. I think that there is an opportunity, especially as your kids start from a younger age and move up, that they have that fun part that is included. So it doesn't appear to be that. And then maybe you can incorporate some things during the week that are benefits because you are a team and you are taking care of the home. It's not all just on you that, hey, we all work together this week. And because of that, on Friday night, we're going to have family game night or it's movie night or whatever. Kind of start linking some of those things together because that is part of, I'm not a big one on always having to throw carrots out to get people to do things. I love to find ways to intrinsically motivate our kids. However, I think there are perfect opportunities for us to build in kind of like your actions reap consequences, right? And usually we think of consequences as negative. It works just the same way with positive ones, right? Because everybody helps in this area, we're able to do this. That's a positive consequence. So I think looking at it in that way could be helpful as well. I think that there's probably some people that have some tips in here too. Oh, I love this. Heather says, I've included cooking, cleaning, laundry errands as executive functioning skills, things like thinking about on Saturday, what do I want to wear to church tomorrow? If it isn't clean, then you need to do laundry. Okay, I love that. So good. Okay, good. You found that helpful, Avery. Okay, good. Okay, so, but I think, yeah, if I came up with like a little cheat sheet to think, what could my 6-year-old really, do at their level? What are things like on my 4-year-old granddaughter was over the other day and I helped her empty, I'm like, do you want to empty the dishwasher? I'm like, here, you do the silverware drawer. Okay. Did the silverware get put exactly where I wanted it to get put in the drawer? Nope, it sure didn't. But you know what? It took me less time to fix a few of those things than it did to have me empty the whole thing. And you know what? The joy on her face for participating in that, Like it was legit. So just think about that. And it doesn't mean every day you have to take the time to start implementing those with younger kids, but maybe you have a little more time in your day and you can work with someone on helping that. Even wiping counters off. I mean, spraying, and I'll talk about that, but spraying cleaner and wiping with rags, hello. Like that job isn't going to be done perfectly either, but done is better than perfect and often, right? And you are helping them learn a skill and they are going to feel proud of themselves. And it's just like this good circle that just comes. Yes, your daughter loves spraying. Yes. Yes, they love a spray bottle, right? So, so anyway, so I would really encourage you to look for ways that you can delegate. And so if you are using the household planner, I know many people, they take highlights or highlighters of different colors, and there's a different color for each member of the family. You can do this in a couple ways where you actually assign a task a day or a couple tasks depending on how many you have in your home that are going to help, and then that's their task for the day. You could even ask them to look at a task and the first one to the planner of the day, they get to pick whatever task out of there that they want to do. That's another way, because then they're going to be anxious to get there because they're going to want to pick the one that maybe is the easiest or maybe one that they enjoy more, right? And so I think if you start incorporating that, and it does fall on us because I'm not perfect at this either by any means. But I think those are the things that build into a routine and a rhythm. So for me, my 14-year-old, I don't highlight the planner for him, but we have a little whiteboard that is inside one of our cupboards in the kitchen. And I will just pick a couple of things from the planner that I need help with that day. And I just write them on the whiteboard for him. And that's easier for him to know what he needs to be doing. But whatever system you decide to do, I think that you will reap a lot of rewards by doing that. And then your kids are going to leave home and they're going to know how to do things, especially if I would say if your child is 10 or older, have them start helping with laundry. I mean, there's a couple seasons for us where I have just said I'm boycotting doing my 14-year-old's laundry for several different reasons. And so he has had to do his own laundry completely from start to finish. And then we go out of that season and then I do it for him again. But I'm grateful that I know that he's equipped to do his own laundry because again, I got so many messages that people still have no idea how to do their laundry. So okay. The next area we're going to talk about is streamlining your supplies. I think we can get caught up on having so many different cleaners, so many different ways to clean things that it bogs down not only our nervous system, but that whole decision fatigue and that clutter aspect is really, it's significant. And so if you've hung around with me long, you know how much I am all about the one cleaner. And so I'm going to touch on that. Whether you choose to use the thieves cleaner or you have a different cleaner that works for you. The reason I mention this is because I have one cleaner for everything. I don't have a cleaner for counters and toilets and windows and my wood floor. It is all the same cleaner. It is this cleaner. It's the Thieves Cleaner from Young Living. And the beautiful thing about this is that it's a concentrate. So it comes like this, and you get to determine what the ratio is for your cleaning. So if you have something that maybe, so I have a spray bottle. Here's a spray bottle right here. You mix this, you pour a little bit of the cleaner into a spray bottle, fill it with I use filtered water from my sink. Some people use distilled water. It's completely whatever you feel comfortable with. But the beauty is that you get to choose the concentration. And so I have a concentration that is for most surfaces, like my kitchen, my counters and my bathroom counters. I have a different spray bottle that is even less thieves cleaner in it. That's for windows and mirrors. You don't need, right, that much, quote, cleaner in for those surfaces, and then I love that I have it just like this and I can just put it in my bucket of water when I'm doing my floors. We use it on inside the car. I mean, I dump a little bit in my laundry every once in a while. So having this has been a game changer for me. One, when I ask somebody else to clean, they don't come to me and say, what cleaner do I need to use, right? I mean, we have Thieves Cleaner, I have Thieves Bath and Kitchen Scrub, and that's it. So it makes it really easy. And so when I was just talking about having, little ones help with the cleaning, especially wanting to go and, spray counters and wipe them. Yeah, there's probably a lot of cleaners out there you certainly would not want your kids to be using at all. And so this is totally safe and effective for kiddos and for your pets too. Like we're a dog family, and my other kids have bunnies that we had a guinea pig before, cats, and I'm so grateful to have a cleaner like that. So okay, let me answer a few questions. Can you use thieves on stainless steel? Yes, I have the spray bottle that I have mixed up for my glass and mirror surfaces. I use on a stainless steel, and I just use my cotton diaper rags. So, yep, it works great. The thieves bath and kitchen scrub. I don't think I have a spare one up here, but we're going to drop a link here for those that are in the chat here. Um, if you aren't already using Thieves and you're curious about it, there's a bundle where you have a Thieves cleaner, you get a spray bottle, you get the kitchen and bath scrub. That is by far the best way that I suggest people get started if they're looking to switch some things to plant-based cleaning. And that all comes in there, and it's over 50% off when you grab the bundle. So that is that. And if you're not a Young Living member yet and you do purchase that bundle, make sure you use the code SHAREYL at checkout because you'll save an extra 10%. And at the time that I'm recording this in November, you get free shipping until the 30th of November too on an order with that bundle. So, but the scrub it's also safe for all surfaces. I love it in my shower. And also I use it a little bit in my kitchen sink. So it's a scrub that is like another name brand, but you don't have to hold your breath when you are using it because it doesn't have anything that is going to be unsafe for you to be breathing in or to use. So, yes, so the ratios for the cleaner is right on the back of the bottle. And I know in my community group that I have for those that have joined with me with Young Living, tons of DIY recipes. And yes, I do have the Happy Healthy Home guide, which I have for sale, which has a bunch of those too. But yes, it's very easy to figure out. And the beautiful thing, which I didn't mention, when you mix up this size bottle from concentrate of Thieves Cleaner, it's about $1.10 a bottle. You guys, you can't go buy another safe plant-based cleaner for that price. You just can't. So, okay, moving on. So I would say if you simplified your cleaning supplies, when you go to open underneath your kitchen sink, it's going to be like, it's like so good, right? And under your bathroom sink, I just have a spray bottle, with a cotton rag under my bathroom sink. So anytime, like maybe it's not on my task for that day to clean the bathroom sink. If I just see, I have a minute, I'm going to spray really quick. I have a rag right here and I'm just going to wipe it. It may be that it comes up a couple days later. Oh, I just did that. And so you don't even have to do that one, right? And so it's just capturing those little moments. So okay, moving on. So we talked about streamlining your supplies. And I have an Amazon list. I didn't actually grab that, but I am not all about having 42,000 things in my home to clean with. You guys know this if you've followed me for any period of time, but the things that I'm going to choose to have in my home to help me clean, they have to be effective and they have to be simple. So I have a few scrub brushes. I use cotton diaper rags. I love my Dyson vacuum. I do not like the Tenneco mop vac. We already went through that. That did not do it for me at all. And I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not going to tell you, grab this if I truly don't believe on it. And I'll tell you guys a little secret. I shared about my humidifier again and how I cleaned it. And that was great. I tagged that company that did the humidifier. They reached out to me. They wanted to send me one of their vacuums. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm like, I really like, I don't want your free vacuum. I truly love my Dyson and I will be a Dyson person forever. And they're not paying me to say that, but that's, yeah, I don't even need to try your free vacuum. So anyway, okay, yes, Dyson or die. Okay, establishing daily habits that stick. Okay. So I would encourage you if you are in the beginning stages and still feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not really sure where to start. I have a lot of people that come to me unsure of where to start. And I love to direct people to my free guide. So if you haven't ever taken a look at that, it's 10 Habits to an Intentional Home. It talks very specifically about some daily habits to start incorporating in your home that will be a game changer for just the way that your home runs and for building that rhythm. And I really, want to encourage you to find those 1, 2, 3 tasks. So, because it's kind of that habit stacking thing. You probably have heard of that, right? It's very common. But you get into a habit of, like, just off the top of my head, meal planning. If you're not meal planning for the week, game changer, friends. Like, how many of us know that feeling of it's 4:30 and you're like, I don't know what's for dinner. It's the worst feeling ever. Friends, we are able to solve that problem very easily, right? By just choosing, even if we think about it in the morning, right? If you keep a good stocked pantry, that's great. Just don't let it be till 4 o'clock. And then if you're a planner and you want to do the whole week at a time, rock on, sister, right? So, but meal planning is one. Running your dishwasher every single night. Yes, there's a few exceptions. If you are, a single person, probably don't need to do that. Maybe if there's only two of you in the home, maybe you don't need to do it every night. But I would get in the habit at least to maybe every other night so that you wake up every morning to a clean dishwasher. Then that's part of your rhythm. For me, I do my morning quiet time, I have my coffee, I go outside for my sunshine usually, and then I come in and empty my dishwasher. Sometimes it's before I go out. But having a clean dishwasher first thing so that you can start loading it up, oh my gosh, it's a game changer, right? Also, starting a load of laundry in the first thing in the morning and just getting that going, it takes that decision fatigue off. So I would encourage you to pick a few of those daily things and begin incorporating them into your morning rhythm and routine. Where does that fit for you? And then just kind of, and if you need to tweak it, tweak it. So Lindsay, your husband runs a dishwasher before bed. See? Yes. Oh, I love that. Printed the checklist page that from the guide and put it in a cute frame. And I just check off the tasks. Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh, Angela, that is amazing. Yes. Use these tools, however, right, to make it pretty and inspiring for you. I love that. So, yes. So finding those core daily habits are going to be really critical at the beginning. So, and many, doing a little tidy pickup after dinner, 10 to 15 minutes just around, in your living area where everybody's kind of congregated. You will when you come down in the morning and you look around and all that stuff isn't left from the night before. How does that make you feel? Like, tell me in the comments, when you walk down and your house is picked up in the morning, how does that make you feel? Do you feel inspired? Do you feel refreshed? Do you feel calm, right? Your nervous system isn't already like you haven't even had a chance to have a nice cup of coffee or tea, sit down to have a quiet moment and, do your little quiet time. Your brain is already like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I have to pick up this mess. I have to do all this, right? So thinking ahead a little bit, what can we do right before that time in order to alleviate that happening? It is just taking care of a few little things the night before, right? Okay, yes, ready to face the day, right? Okay, the next one is, here's a few secret tips that I wanted to share that you may have been like, that's interesting perspective. So, secret tips for gaining more time, because I think we can often fall to this excuse, and I'm not saying that the excuse isn't valid, right? There's totally valid excuses of being too busy. I have days where literally I feel like I booked my day too full. There was no margin, and that's my fault. Sometimes I can have a lot of control over that and I just overcommit. So how can we gain more time? And so I'm going to share a couple tips and you can see, does this help for you maybe? And you want to experiment. So um, my first one is if you are still going to the grocery store and walking the aisles, doing your own grocery shopping, I would encourage you to look at some other options. So you can do grocery pickup from many stores, depending on the area that you are, free of charge. So I recently, that was not something that I took advantage of often, but I do now. I rarely set foot in a typical grocery store. I do go to Costco, but to go into my normal grocery store, um, yeah, it would be a Susan sighting if you saw me going into the grocery store. So pickup is a game changer. I can sit at home, taking that 5 to 10 minutes, go through what I need from my meal plan or what I know needs to be restocked, put it in the cart, check out, and set my time to pick up my groceries. It's amazing, right? So that is time saved, friends. If you are going to the grocery store, let's just say an hour. It's probably more than an hour but the time you leave your home, return home, right? It's probably more than an hour. And if you're going more than once a week, there's even more capturing those bits of time that you're doing a different activity so that you have a little more breathing space to maybe do, a couple of things that could care for your home. You're not losing anything. In fact, it's probably way less stressful, right? For you to not have to head out to the grocery store, especially now that we're coming into the holiday season. All the crazy people are going to the grocery store. So, yeah. So let's see here, you guys. Oh, some of you already have yep, Summer says about 6 to 8 months ago, you started doing grocery delivery. And that's another thing. You could actually have it be delivered. So you're not even having to pick it up. I have done that for a few seasons and I'm kind of contemplating, do I want to do that again? Because I think it could really benefit me in the long run. So yes, there are lots of different ways that you can do it. I know certain grocery stores just charge a fee for it to be delivered. Some of them, I think you could have delivery for free. So I would consider looking into that just to take that chunk of time out. Another thing which is very similar is what things can you um, put into automation. Where when I mean automation, I mean like subscribe and save from Amazon, or like for me, like I buy supplies that maybe I would have went to a typical drugstore. I get a lot of those things with my Young Living order. So I can't even tell you. I probably have not been to a drugstore. No, I was, because I had to pick up my husband had a prescription for his knee surgery. So I did have to go into a drugstore. I have not been into a drugstore in several years. So I don't make time for that. So we buy a lot of items on Amazon Subscribe and Save. And before you say like, oh, it's got to be more expensive, I would encourage you, no, find a product that you use on a regular basis. Check the price on Amazon and the price that you're paying at the grocery store, and then check and see. Okay, because for example, my son loves this certain granola, and usually Walmart is going to be the cheapest place around. And so I looked on Walmart, and then I'm like, I'm going to just check Amazon just to see. And so this is an item he eats like 4 days a week. So we go through a lot of this granola. Well, Amazon actually was cheaper on their subscribe and save. So I was able to add it there, and that particular item saved an extra 15% on our monthly subscribe to save. So I would just encourage you. I'm not asking you to overspend, right? We don't want to just simplify things that end up adding way more to our family budget, but where can you simplify so that you know things that you use on a regular basis are going to be delivered to your door and you don't even have to think about it. Okay. So those are the things. Yes. And Lindsay says, when you go to the store, you always find those extra things, right? There's a reason all of that stuff is right at the checkout lane while you're waiting, right? It's like, ooh, that chocolate bar, that. Yeah. So we definitely don't have those last minute expenditures either. So I will say those things I think for me have saved a ton of time. And I'm a homebody. I would rather be at home and have those things delivered to me than fighting out in crowds of people to kind of find the best deal. And I feel like I can find the best deal at home. Also, shopping online for clothes. I don't go and shop in the stores for clothes at all. I love saving money. So another thing I've chatted a little about, I'll probably in the next couple of days share in my stories again, is about the Rakuten app and being able to shop through that app and then shop when people are having a sale. So one of the places I shop a lot for clothes is the Gap and Old Navy. And so I always go through the Rakuten app because I'm either earning 2%, 6%, or 10% back. And I'm also getting the sale price from, the store I'm shopping at. So yeah, there's like, it's just one little step you go through that website, but you're earning. And I just got $169 deposited in my bank account because I'm willing to take that little extra step by checking, oh, I'm going to shop. In fact, I bought a new pair of boots from Macy's, and I don't normally shop at Macy's. And I was like, oh, I need to go and check if Macy's is on the Rakuten app. And sure enough, they were. So I think they had a 6%. So not only did I get my boots on sale, I'm going to get 6% back from that. So yes, you know what? Before I jump off, because I didn't think I was even going to mention that. So I will put that Rakuten app, because actually, if you guys use my referral link, I get a little thank you from them. But so those are the kind of things, like I probably should just do a separate call on the ways that I save time and money like that, right? Because I think all of these tips we get to learn from other people. So yeah, oops, here is that link for it doesn't cost anything to create an account for Rakuten. And actually, if you share it with your friends, then you actually get a little bonus too. But in any event, again, not asking people to spend more money, right? We just want to spend our money smarter. And so if you can get a percentage back, especially now as we're getting into the holidays by shopping online, I'm all about it. Okay, so that was gaining more time. Bonus tips to maintain a tidy home, and then we're going to wrap up. Declutter regularly. I talk about this often. I actually even have a guide, and I'll probably after the first of the year, we'll kind of pick a little time period where I did 28 days to a simplified home, and we'll do it together again, right? Because if you are not regularly decluttering, if things aren't going out of your house, but you keep bringing things in, what happens? Like it's going to overflow. And that's really the feeling that ends up happening, because we have got to be purging and getting rid of things as much as we are bringing them in. It will create more peace in your home. So if you're like me and you maybe get highly stimulated by all of the things in your home, this is going to give you a breath of fresh air when you can get rid of things. Because when there's less stuff, there's less stuff to put away. There's less stuff to dust. I mean, it is that whole thing, right? The 1 minute rule, I kind of touched on this a little bit. For tasks that take less than a minute or even 2 minutes, do them right when you think about them. So especially like when everybody comes in the door from being out, right? Often with little kids too, everything just ends up in a pile right there on the floor. So, and it can be easy, right, for us to kick off our shoes and leave them scattered, and coats and all of the thing. But take the 1 minute and help get those things put where they need to go, right? Because it seems like then it just takes even more time to put those things away. So yeah, hang up your coat, do it now. It helps in the big things. So if, you have a minute and can wipe out the sink, when you have just finished getting ready in the morning, in the bathroom, do that, after you've cleaned up dinner and all the dishes are in the dishwasher, do a quick, wipe and clean up of the kitchen sink. You'll feel so much better when you come down the next morning, right? So those are the things that I think are really helpful if you just use those little 1 minute time blocks. And then bins and baskets. I'm going to say this not in the way of just take a bunch of bins and baskets and put all of your stuff in there and not do the decluttering part. However, I will say if you're anything like me, where you are overstimulated by so much stuff around, and maybe you are in a season where you have a lot of, toys and different things because you have little people in your home, baskets and bins are going to be your friend because you can just pick up piles of cars or Barbie stuff and put them in the bin that they belong and then get them on a shelf or whatever, and they're out of sight, right? It is so calming to our nervous system to have things put away. And then it's easy, right, for our kids to help. Like there's a bin for cars, there's a bin for this, Legos, all of that. And it makes it so much easier. So, a good place that I have found for bins and baskets, I would say I love to look on Amazon only because if you're looking for plastic, that is a good place. If you're looking for more of a basket thing, I would say IKEA is definitely a place that you're going to find cost effective. But even looking on Amazon, I have found some that when you buy a quantity more than one, it breaks the price down. Walmart is another one. Somebody said a secondhand, a thrift store. That's a great idea. So yes. So when you are doing, any kind of looking for baskets or bins like that, yes, it makes things easier. So, and then I mentioned this before, but the end of the day reset, just taking 5 to 10 minutes to look around that space and picking up things. And even friends, even if you don't have the energy or desire to take the time to put those things away, have a little bin and just pick it. It all goes in there. And then maybe it's tomorrow morning after breakfast that, that you start figuring out where those things go because you're just wanting to think of you and what's going to make you feel better, right? So there you go. So there are my tips. So I want to wrap up by saying, I would love for you to have this attitude of what can I do versus like, okay, maybe I said something today, or maybe this is a thought that you've had of like, oh, I saw this list. I can't do that. That just wouldn't work for me. What can you do? How can you tailor something that I've shared so that it could work for you, right? Instead of automatically saying, I can't do that. We are looking for a better, or done is better than not done, or better than perfection, right? Good is good enough, right? And so looking at that and giving ourselves that space, I think is really, really helpful because it doesn't have to be overwhelming managing our home and caring for the things that need to be done. I really do believe with a few routines put in place that you can feel refreshed in your role. And also feel peaceful, right? You can provide that. We are the thermostat of our house. If we are stressed and out of sorts, our family picks up on that and everybody is going to feed off of that. So what can we do to help nurture ourselves so that we can have that calming presence, right? So as I wrap up, I'm going to share two things that I know have been really helpful for many of you. And I know some of you, if you already have the 2025 planner, I would love for you to drop a 1 in the comments here. But I want to tell you, if you have bought it, do you not just love the new layout? I feel like I went from having a preschooler to having a teenager now. That's what I feel like happened because the previous planner has served well for literally, like, I think that was 8 years. And we just totally facelifted this baby and now she's gorgeous. So if you are one that is struggling with, I'm not sure where to start, I don't really know the tasks that need to be done, I don't know how often, this is going to be your little homemaking sidekick. So I've done all the work for you right here. It's going to tell you exactly what needs to be done. So for example, on Monday, February 17th, wash master bedroom sheets, dust master bedroom surfaces, vacuum the master bedroom, empty all trash cans, and dust and vacuum upper floors and stairs. That's done. I go through these tasks on a rotating basis, so you don't have to think about what needs to be done. All you need to figure out is, what can I do today? Maybe you don't do all of those things, right? But you can choose what you can do. So I feel like there's so much success in having that mindset rather than starting from scratch and not sure, what needs to be done on what kind of time frame. So what I love about the planner now that this is our second year is that you purchased this beautiful PDF from me. In the beginning, I'll share, sorry, it's a little hard to hold up. I feel like a librarian. Um, there is a little bit of an introduction. I talk about some of the common tasks that are in here and kind of like my take on what what it would look like to do that. And then it just goes right into this beautiful format, which is the the tasks that are rotated. You have a spot for your weekly menu plan. And then on this other side are the daily tasks to focus on. There's a little spot here for things that need to be rotated through, and this is just kind of this week. So whenever you have time or you want to delegate to people, these are things that should be done. Then you have this big spot for notes. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so good. Then we put in this win of the week for you to kind of like be able to give yourself a pat on the back. Or maybe if you have this set out for your family, they get to see, and you could even put little love notes in that section and encourage other people. And then, of course, we've got some diffuser blend recipes. We expanded that to one every week. And then I always have a little quote at the top here. So it really is easy to read. The layout is beautiful. You get an instant download to the PDF. And then when you get your purchase receipt email, you will get the link to the printer that I've collaborated with. And that's a whole amazing story in itself. But they are actually local to me. And you can get this print and bound for about $20 and then mail it to your home. Shipping is like $5 to $6, I think. So all said and done, you're paying $29 for the PDF and then about $25 for it to be printed. So what is that? My math is not that good, but let's just say around $55. That is just a little over $1 a week for you to have a beautiful planner, right? That is going to take you through the entire year and help you get those rhythms down for homemaking. So I love it. And also for a limited time, if you haven't purchased the 2024 planner and you're not using that right now, you get the month of December. I'm including that. So even though it's the preschooler, the old version, you will be able to kind of print that out and get some of those routines in place for that. So, and then I shared, but I'm going to wrap us up here, that we put together, myself and my team is amazing. We put together this reflect and renew guide at the last minute. We literally were scrambling before the planner released because I really felt that there's a lot of focus put on big goals and New Year's resolutions, but they really didn't serve me in my life, but I wanted to share with you a process that has been really helpful for me. And so this guide here, Reflect and Renew, is exactly that. You have some wonderful questions to go through to reflect on this past year in different areas: your personal self-care, homemaking intentions, your health and well-being, family relationships, and your faith or spiritual intentions. Very specific questions for you to ask yourself on how did this year go? What maybe you want to change for next year? And then you can set your intentions, set your intentions for 2025 in these areas. You can't really know what direction you want to go unless you take the time to reflect, right? So their questions are right there for you. And then what is different is that you're not making those big goals just for the entire year. You're making smaller bite-sized goals by building out monthly intentions. So each month you're going to be like, okay, for January, in these areas, I want to do blank. And you're going to actually label that. And then come the end of January, you're going to be able to go back and review your month. How did it go? Did I meet that, intention that I had? If you didn't, okay, we're going to put it and it's going to be part of February. No shame, no guilt. It's just constant evaluating what is working and what isn't. So So you get this guide. We're going to give it to you as a special when you purchase with your planner purchase, $7. And you can get this printed at the printer. I think they had it for $6. You can get it all printed, beautifully put together for you to use in the new year as well. So those two tools together, friends, will literally change your trajectory in 2025 in not only your role as a homemaker, but in those other areas, right? We're always looking to kind of shift and do that. So, anyway, so yes, so the link to the planner, when you purchase the planner, a little box will pop up and ask you if you want that Reflect and Renew guide as an add-on purchase for $7. If you have already purchased the planner and you weren't really sure what this was when it popped up, no worries, friend. We are going to send an email out in the next few days to those people that had purchased the planner already and had no idea what that was because we didn't really talk about it before. And so many people have said, oh, shoot, I wish I would have purchased it. So we're going to do that. So, but if you just want the Reflect and Renew guide, that is going to be in my Stan store this week too. We will put that as a separate purchase. So anyway, okay. Is that, I think there's some questions there, but I think, yes, you can get everything printed locally. So I used to send people to like Staples, or if you have a local print shop, you can go there. I would encourage you to check the price that it's going to cost for you to get it printed at Staples and then compare it to the price from the printer. I will say when I've had my planners printed from Staples before, and they weren't this size here, it was $45. So I want you to get, yes, the most economical. So even paying the $5 to $6 shipping to have this printer take care of it. And right now there's a discount, 10% till the end of November, off of your printing from them as well. I think you're going to find that it is truly the most economical for sure. So anyway, okay, other questions before we close? You guys were great for sticking out with me here. I went a little bit longer than I wanted. So, uh, there is not a code for the discount as far as the Reflect and Renew guide. It comes right up when you are checking out. So you will see that pop up. So Summer, well, I so appreciate you joining now. And yes, so perfect. All right. Well, I do have this recorded. I will be popping it in and then sending the replay out. So if you have somebody that maybe you think would find this helpful, feel free to share the link with them and they can view the recording as well. So thank you, Genevieve. Oh, I feel like the planner, I know my purpose and I'm very grateful that it is so helpful for so many others for sure. So, all right, you guys. All right, I will see you over on Instagram. Thanks so much for joining me.